What is going on, guys? Ani-mity back at it again with another video, and today we are starting a brand new project. This is something that I've had in mind that I've wanted to do for a very long time, and it's just something that I think is going to motivate me toward improving this skill. It's something that's going to motivate me toward being able to tweak with this a little bit, and also a chance for me to open myself up to feedback and other ways in which I can improve my skill set and other ways in which I can improve on what I'm practicing with this. What is the thing I'm talking about? I am going to show you guys my journey with teaching myself how to do animation. Now, if this is your first time here on the channel, this is your first time here, or it's your first time interacting with me in general, first of all, welcome. Second of all, I love the craft of making a good story. And that goes into so many different angles. There's so many different perspectives in which I think that there's so much effort that's put into it, so much love that I can tell is in a product which I love to be able to see. Now, for myself, I'm not the best at the, I guess you want to call it the practical nature of doing art. I can't really draw, I can't do a lot of things when it comes to the visual aspect. There's some stuff I think I can do with voice, even if it's not necessarily the best or not necessarily all that great. But there's some stuff I can do with voice, there's some stuff I generally understand with how to work with audio. I like script writing, and I'd like to think that after 4 years I've learned a thing or two about how to do it, even if I'm not that great at it, but I've learned some things of the craft of how to make a good story and how to make a good script that will sell, to make a script that will work for entertaining people. You know, I've written scripts that I don't think I'll ever publish to people, but I've had people say that they were pretty good. So I'd like to think just on that merit, I can do scripts, I can do voice and work with that. But the problem is, all of that doesn't really amount to much if you don't have an artist, if you don't have someone who can add a visual component to what it is you're writing. And I've debated how I want to go about making a component that will make my scripts more interesting to have them be on the channel, because I've considered a few different ways in which I do it, and not a lot of them have really worked out so far. I've considered doing an audio drama before, but most of the scripts I have, I need like really good sound effects for it. On top of that, I need more than just my own voice, and I can edit my voice to kind of sound like other characters, and there's ways in which I can change the pitch of my own voice to kind of do like impressions like what I was doing over my Halloween marathon, but none of that's really worked out to a degree in which I thought it was particularly good. So I'm still working on ways in which I want to go about it, but one thing I have also wanted to do is I've wanted to kind of teach myself a little bit of how to do animation. Now, as I said, I've never really had any practice. I'm not particularly good at doing it. And you know, I've tried teaching myself from the internet. I've tried looking up multiple videos on what other people do to try to make their craft work. I've looked at a lot of what other people try as far as like tricks and other stuff to make stuff look good, but you know, I never really found something that resonated with me. It felt like every one of the videos I found started from some foundation which I didn't have or I don't possess. Like I, you know, never took a proper art class beyond what I had when I was in elementary school. There's a lot of like fundamentals which I feel like I don't possess as someone doing art, and I feel like a lot of videos that I've seen that are like quote unquote for beginners really miss out on that. So I wanted to be able to make a video that is spoken without like any authority or any knowledge of where it is I'm going with doing animation. I'm speaking as someone who's never touched most like art web design things ever. I've never touched most of the programs. I don't have a drawing pad. I don't have any of that kind of stuff, and I want to try to see what can I achieve just with the tools that I have. I'm using Photopea for doing all the stuff, at least for this route. I have some other animation softwares that I want to try to work with, and I want to try to teach myself some stuff, but I thought this would be the most like rudimentary, this is the most like ground zero training that I can do. This is like starting from the barest that I possibly can, working with a completely blank screen, and from scratch, can I make an animation? Or what's the process in which I would go through in making an animation? I want to walk you guys through my process, to open it up to show you guys, like, you know, maybe give you guys a new perspective you guys wouldn't consider for making an animation if you're thinking about doing it, if you're anything like me. Or, you know, if you know what you're doing with this, and there's some things like, oh, you know, if you want to make this easier for yourself, here's some other things you might want to consider. And all that kind of stuff. I want to open up these videos for people like that, because, you know, when I was starting my career in Ithaca, I thought that I was special in the fact that I could only write, but I couldn't draw. And I'm like, man, I feel like I'm so far behind the curve with so many other people who are kind of venturing into both the fields. I just can't do art. I've never been able to. But over the course of my time there, I realized there are more people like that. There are people who have the same kind of struggles as me. And I realized, I have a stake in the fact that I'm someone in the position of I know what I can do with writing, I just don't know what I can do with art. And I want to try to reach out to people like that and give them kind of a skill set, kind of teach them what I wish that I had figured out, teach them the stuff I've figured out so far and stuff that I kind of wish someone would have told me before doing all this. Because after experimenting a little bit the way I have, I realized that the art process is not as scary as I thought it was. It's not as much, it's going to take a lot of time and it's going to require a lot of patience, which I don't always have, but if you're willing to put in the time and if you're willing to put in the practice of being able to try for this, you'll be impressed with what you'll come up with me. I'll say, the stuff that I'm creating now with this very basic style is significantly better than where I started and some of the art I remember making when I was very, very young. So, listen, the process works. It's just, are you willing to make mistakes? Are you willing to put yourself out there? And ultimately, are you willing to just experiment and just figure out what does and doesn't work for you? And that's kind of what I want to open this video up to say. I don't know what I'm doing with any of this. I hope I made that blatantly clear through this, but what I want to do with this series and with these videos, which I will try to post as frequently as I can, of course, I can't promise any, consistent, I'll post these, consistently till I'm done with the series, because this time of year, just things kind of go all over the place, but for this series, I want to show you guys my process. I went from this, to this, to this. And then as the series goes on, I'll evolve to other methods and other platforms in which I can try to hone my own skills. We'll be figuring it all out together. And if you'll join me on this journey, I hope that you'll learn something, because I know I'm definitely going to learn a lot, and I'm going to be more motivated to, because of the fact I know you guys are going to be going on this journey with me. So, hope you guys are excited for it. Hope you guys will like, comment, subscribe, and get excited for this journey that we're about to begin.